Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Agriculture in a Nutshell. I'm Dylan Brush, and today we're going to be doing another one of those Dylan exclusives where I kind of update all of you guys as to what's been going on and how things are and what maybe some future plans are, and yeah, all the updates and the latest and greatest news. As I'm sure most of you have may or may not have noticed, we've been off on our schedule, our posting schedule for episodes. We've missed a few for the last couple months, and I figured I'd bring you guys all up to speed as to why that is. So in mid-May, around the 12th, unfortunately, I was in a car accident actually, and it kind of postponed or put things off when it comes to being able to record I guess it didn't postpone or put things off. It prevented myself and my grandpa, Bill Brush, from being able to record episodes, unfortunately. And so that's the reason behind our 2-month hiatus from being able to provide you guys with some nice agriculture content and some nice talks from Bill. I'm doing okay now. I feel like I'm finally starting to get somewhat to the point to where I'm resuming some mundane, normal tasks. My main setbacks, or my main calamities, as I like to say, were I had an injury to my leg, unfortunately, which has made moving around quite difficult. I've been in bed for the last couple months trying to heal up and get back to normal, slowly but surely. It's a long process, unfortunately, but a steady one thus far. And outside of my leg, I hurt my shoulder a little bit. There's something weird going on with that, and then I hurt my side as well, as bruised up. I had some internal bruising and all that kind of jazz, and so that's what's been putting off the episodes for our podcast. But like I said, I'm on the mend. Very, very slowly but surely, I'm getting back to trying to be as normal as possible. But I have officially gotten to the point now to where I feel well enough and I'm able to sit down at a desk for an extended period of time so that we can now resume recording episodes and providing you guys with some nice agriculture content. So, and also, just want to reiterate the fact that anyone who wants to leave a comment asking Bill for insight on any of the questions that you guys may have, please feel free to do so. And also, if you guys have any suggestions for any future videos, do not hesitate to leave comments down below and suggest away. Bill, I'm sure, would be happy to talk about just about anything as it pertains to ag and farming and the industry and all kinds of stuff. So just let us know. As it pertains to me, like I said, long, slow process for healing. I'm every day inching my way towards getting better, which is good. And so hopefully there's a nice linear path to getting back to normal. But like I said, I feel good enough now to be able to sit at my desk with my grandpa Bill and record some episodes for you guys, which is a big bonus because I very much so enjoy doing that. And yeah, so that's the reason behind not having been posting for the last couple of months. It's not due to just taking a break or a hiatus. It's actually because, yeah, I was in an accident. Going forward from this point on, we're probably going to, or I aim to keep us on the same schedule that we were before, where it's every other week we post an episode on Friday. Hence the episode that was posted today in conjunction with this one. I wanted to also kind of do a double upload today, or I guess by the time you're this will have been uploaded, it'll be the next day, but it's just a back-to-back upload day or upload days to kind of fill everyone in as to what's been going on and the reason behind our absence. But yeah, like I said, going forward, I aim to keep us on that same schedule. Every other week on Friday, you'll get a new episode of Ag in a Nutshell, barring schedule conflicts and things like that. Although we will try to avoid those. Much like we will try to avoid any future major calamities such as car accidents. I don't recommend it for all that's listening. It's not the most fun thing in the world, and it definitely is a hurdle to have to jump over, but nothing that I cannot get through and push through in the long term. As far as the farm goes, an update in that department, I personally haven't been doing a whole lot towards the contribution of the success of the farm, as my condition has not allowed me to do such. However, that being said, it is right at the very beginning of harvest season for all the almonds and such that we farm, so things are starting to spool up and get a little hectic around here. We're gonna start actually shaking here not too long if we haven't already. That means that our nut processing facility that we use, the huller, is going to start ramping up. There's going to be a bunch more people in and out of there, running around, making sure things are running smooth. And yeah, it's as exciting as it is stressful this time of year, because all the work that you put in throughout the beginning of the year and at the end of the previous year is all coming to fruition now. So it's a big, very important time of year to really grind it all out, I guess you could say. And so, yeah, we're right at the very beginning of all of the fruits of our labors being presented to us and collected in the form of nice, matured almonds, or almonds if you prefer to hear it that way. Additionally, the pecans, my beloved pecans, my main area of, not expertise, but the place where I probably have spent the most time in the last year or so since we've been doing some of these update podcast episodes. They are, as far as I know, looking pretty good. Although I will say, based on these weather predictions that have been coming out about like a possible El Nino that's coming around, that's going to cause a whole bunch of rain and snow melt and all that kind of stuff and fill up all the rivers. The pecans could be finding themselves underwater this winter, which is going to be quite interesting considering that we were actually able to harvest them last year. So this year, now that could potentially be a thing that occurs, is the flooding of the pecans. Because where they're at, they're in a floodplain. I don't know if I've mentioned this before on previous podcast episodes, but where we have our pecan orchard, it's on a floodplain that one of the rivers that runs through the back of the orchard, when it fills all the way up, it spills over into the floodplain, and the floodplain is an orchard full of pecans. So they oftentimes become submerged, and that's not good, obviously, or conducive to farming them and or keeping them alive and all that kind of stuff. A lot of them, I don't want to say a lot of them, but a chunk of them are old enough and large enough and have been through it enough times, the flooding, that they'll be fine if they get flooded for an extended period of time. Some of them not so much. Some of them have seen better days and probably, if not already, should be ripped out, because of the previous floods that have happened in previous years. They kind of fried those trees and they didn't develop correctly, and so consequently they don't produce as many nuts and they're kind of just stunted. So if it floods again, that's not going to help the situation at all, and it's all bad. So I think what the long-term plan for the pecan orchard is that we're going to keep the good trees, which are all kind of off in one corner for the most part, and then we're just going to rip out everything else and say call it a day, because those guys, like I said, were stunted from previous flood years and they don't produce. Or you'll have this real big pecan tree that you're like, oh man, that looks like a real healthy, good, large tree, it should produce a bunch of nuts. And then whenever you go up and take a closer look, there's no nuts on the tree, or there's very few nuts on the tree. But then conversely, you'll go to a part of the field or the part of the orchard that looks small and underdeveloped and like it should be ripped out, and you'll look at those trees and be like, oh, there's more nuts on this tree than that big one over there. And so it's kind of weird. We're gonna have to cherry pick which ones we decide to take out and which ones we decide to leave, I think. But all of that being said, if it floods again substantially, and this time it's supposed to flood big time and for a long time, then we might have different decisions to make. And depending on how long and how the trees receive it and all that kind of stuff, we may have to rip out more trees than what we would have to right now. So just all things to think about and consider between now and when winter is in full effect at the end of harvest. But yeah, we're ramping it up. Here in the next week, couple weeks, few weeks, whatever, we're officially gonna start full-blown harvest. So that's kind of exciting. Very stressful, but also exciting. So yeah. And then obviously that's just almonds. Obviously after that comes the walnuts, and then after that the pecans, so on and so forth. It's also interesting because pecans, as far as I know, or as far as I can remember, are harvested after everything else. They're like a late harvest, which is not conducive to the whole flooding concept, because if it starts raining right around the time that we need to harvest, it could get a little weird, timing wise. But it should be fine. I hope it will be fine is what I should probably say. But yeah, that's basically the update for what's been going on around the farm and with our uploading schedule and myself and all that kind of stuff. Feels good to be back. Like I said, I'm slowly but surely trending in the right direction, and hopefully we can go back to normal every other week uploads, and everything will be hunky-dory. So with that, I think I'm gonna cut things off there. I want you guys all to have a fruitful harvest wherever you may be harvesting, whatever you may be harvesting, and leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and always stay curious.